If I'm being honest, so far editing this book has been a lot harder than I thought it would be. Hi, I'm Patrick Nyland, and this is the road to publishing my first book. Recently, I feel like I've kind of been crawling down this road. Compared to how fast I wrote my first draft, my writing pace has slowed down significantly in recent weeks. And I think the main reason for that is I'm in the editing phase now, and I'm a lot less familiar with editing a book compared to writing a book. Even though I've never published one of my books or even come close to publishing one of my books, I have a lot of experience writing them. I'm pretty sure my draft for Operation Arc is the 5th draft of the book that I've completed in my lifetime. Let me count, actually. There's Europa, the book I wrote in a week and then published on Wattpad. Then there's Talia's Ghost. I have to rewrite that, but I did finish that draft. Freshman year of college, I finished my first draft of the Exotron. That's garbage, but I finished it. I think there's a theme here. All the drafts I write are complete crap. And then, my ex-girlfriend may be a zombie, which I've converted to a video game project, but I did write a draft for it. And then, my draft for Operation Arc is number 5. And then on top of that, while I do view Operation Arc as a book, it is a series of short stories, and I've written countless short stories over the years. At one point on Wattpad, I was writing a short story every single week. Also, when it comes to writing experience, I'm not even talking about all the drafts I started and never finished. I mean, there are 3 versions of Operation Arc that I completely abandoned before I even wrote this one. And then all that writing experience isn't even considering all the fanfiction experience I have from before I started writing novels. To summarize, I've worked on a lot of writing projects, so I feel pretty comfortable writing a story. That being said, I have not edited most of those projects, which is really why I think I'm having so much trouble editing Operation Arc. I'm not used to editing my stories because, to be honest, I haven't really done it that much, so as a result, it feels really awkward. The way I have a really solid writing routine, I don't really have a solid editing routine. Polishing my work is not something I'm really good at, which is one of the main reasons why I haven't published anything yet. And while it's tempting to look up some YouTube videos on how other people edit their books, the truth is the only way I'm going to learn how to edit my own book is working on it, doing it myself. And that's exactly how I learned how to write a book, trial and error. Don't get me wrong, I think looking at writing advice is great, it's really helpful, but it can only help so much. And to be honest, I don't think watching tips at all helps unless you actually apply it to your daily writing routine. Or in this case, my editing routine. That being said, I would love to hear about your editing process because as you're going to see, I have no clue what I'm doing. I mean, to be perfectly honest, I don't really know what I'm doing when I'm writing, but I have even less clue what I'm doing when I'm editing. For this writing vlog, I'm going to give you an inside look for what my editing process kind of looks like right now. It is not pretty, but that's enough talk. Let's edit. So the first step in my editing process is actually taking a month off, which is really the only step I feel like I've actually mastered so far. The reason why I do this is when I edit something, I want to have some separation away from it. I feel like it's really hard to edit something objectively when you've just written it, so that month really helps. Now, when I edit something I've written, I kind of like to leave the original document untouched. I don't really like to edit directly onto my first draft. That being said, I also don't really like Google Docs edit mode where you leave comments and stuff, you can commit them later. I feel like it's really annoying, it's kind of hard to follow, so I don't really use that. Instead, the way I've been doing this is I have a second document open for my second draft. So I've basically been reading each chapter or short story one chunk at a time, and I kind of make a decision whether I like that chunk or I don't really like the way it's worded. If I really like it as it is, then I copy it onto the document that I'm writing my second draft on. Then when it's on the draft 2 document, I kind of make some changes here and there until it's perfect, or perfecter. Is that a word? How about until I think it's up to standard? For other parts, if I really don't like what I wrote in the first draft, then I'll kind of rewrite it from scratch in the second draft. For some of the chapters or stories, I feel like I haven't been doing a lot of rewriting. For other ones, I feel like I've been rewriting the entire thing. And the big issue I'm having is so far after 2.5 weeks of editing, I'm really only 5 chapters in, which is way behind where I thought I would be halfway through September. Like, way behind. Sure, draft 2 does look a lot better than draft 1 does, but there has to be a better way of doing this. I feel like right now I'm also focusing on too many things at once. I'm really catching myself trying to make each line perfect when I really should be focusing on the big picture. My main concern with that is once or twice I've kind of found myself spending a lot of time polishing one paragraph only to realize it didn't even fit the narrative of the story and deleting the entire paragraph. And there are other things like that where I just feel like I'm not being efficient with the way I edit Operation Arc right now. And there are other things like that where I just feel like I'm not being efficient with the way I'm editing Operation Arc right now. The one good thing is the parts that I do edit are coming out a lot better than the previous version, it's just taking a long time. I also like having 2 monitors because I can look at the original version and the current version that I'm working on. Another thing that I'm doing in the new version that I kind of like is I'm having fun facts at the beginning of each short story, kind of like telling the story of what happened to Earth before the Operation Arc events. The scope of these stories really isn't focused on what happened on Earth leading up to these arcs, so it's kind of fun to kind of explore that through little fun facts at the beginning of each story. My goal is to kind of have the reader be able to piece together or kind of make assumptions about what happened based on the little fun facts I give them. I really enjoy random fun facts like this in video games and books, so I thought it'd be fun to include them. But yeah, that's really all I can think to say about my editing process right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and edit story 5. So I ended up spending like 5 hours editing a story that's around 2,000 words long, which I don't even know if that's good or terrible because I don't really have a gauge on how long it's supposed to take to edit. But you know what? I kind of like it a lot more now, so I'm not going to complain too much. I guess we'll see how I feel about it in 2 weeks. Before I end this vlog, in last week's episode, I wrote an 100-word short story in an attempt to win a contest. I was literally so excited to submit my story, and then I realized the submissions were not open yet. But now they are, so I'm going to go ahead and submit it. I'm not going to make any changes, but I'm rereading it really quick to make sure I didn't make any stupid errors. I'm a bit nervous, I'm not going to lie. That contest doesn't end until the end of September, and I'm pretty sure they don't pick winners until October 31st, but I'll keep you updated. Now, I have a package that's supposed to be coming soon. If that does come when I think it's going to come, I might be doing something a little bit different for next week's episode, but I guess you'll just have to tune in and find out. Thank you so much for watching. See you next Sunday.